You know how we were talking about that community garden project you're working
Yeah,
on?
yeah.
Well, I found something that I think might just kickstart your green thumb
Okay.
and maybe even like your inner city planner.
All right.
We are going on a deep dive into cities.
Oh, cool.
It's this board game that takes like all those big crazy ideas about urban design
Right.
and it turns them into like this really fun
Yeah.
strategic game.
I love that. I'm all about games.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated by cities. So this is like right up my alley.
It's cool how a game can take all those, really complex problems
Absolutely.
that city planners face in the real world,
Yeah, like
and make them into something that's
like how do you create a neighborhood that has enough housing,
Right.
enough parks and, businesses,
Yeah.
but it's still beautiful and sustainable.
yeah, and like
It's a lot to think about.
for sure, like how do you balance all that stuff?
Right.
So give me like a quick overview of this cities game.
Okay, so in cities, you're not building an entire city.
Okay.
You're designing a neighborhood,
Oh,
but you're designing it within one of 8 iconic cities around the world.
wow. Okay, so you're
So
like
you're drawing inspiration from
yeah.
the canals of Venice or, the busy streets of New York
Yeah.
or the energy of Rio de Janeiro.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety there.
So 8 cities.
Yeah.
8 different cities.
So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how do you actually play the game?
so each round, you're going to draft different elements for your neighborhood.
Okay.
So you're drafting scoring cards that set your goals,
Right.
city tiles that represent different types of land,
Oh, cool.
feature tiles that add extra flair,
Okay.
and then, of course, the building pieces themselves.
Okay, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
putting together
It's like a puzzle.
a puzzle, but like
Yeah.
with more strategy.
Exactly. Way more strategy involved.
Yeah.
And those building pieces are not just random block.
Okay, so tell me about the building pieces.
So the building pieces represent different types of buildings.
Okay.
And you have to strategically place them on matching spaces on your city tiles.
Okay.
But here's the cool part.
Okay.
You can build upwards.
What?
Just like in a real city.
Oh, wow.
Your buildings can be anywhere from 1 to 4 stories high.
Yeah, that's
You know,
cool.
it adds a whole other dimension to your planning.
So like instead of just spreading out,
Yeah.
you can go up.
Exactly. You got to maximize your space.
That's awesome.
You got to think vertically.
Yeah.
It's like in a real city.
That's so like I'm thinking like you have to decide like do you want a big park
Right?
or do you want to put like, a bunch of high rises?
Exactly. And that's the same dilemma that city planners face.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
All the time. They're like, how do we balance this?
Yeah.
Do we create more green space or do we,
Right.
create more high density housing? So just like in the real world, the game makes you think about the trade-offs of your decisions.
Okay, so it's like way more than just building like a pretty neighborhood.
Absolutely.
It's like thinking about all the stuff that goes on.
Yeah, you got to meet the needs of the community.
Right.
You have to think about,
Yeah.
what are the priorities?
Balancing all those
Wow.
different priorities. Yeah. So are there different ways to win?
Absolutely. There's multiple ways to win.
Oh, wow.
So Cities has this achievement board
Okay.
where players can earn points for completing certain goals.
Oh, that's cool.
So, for example, you might get rewarded for having a low carbon footprint,
Oh, wow.
just like a city would in the real world if they were trying to be more sustainable.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it just highlights how important those things are becoming.
Yeah. So it's like a really fun way
Yeah.
to learn about
Ooh,
city planning.
It's fun and engaging. You're learning without even realizing you're learning
Yeah.
because you're having so much fun.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it goes beyond like just the big picture too. Even like little details like the game's playtime
Okay.
can be adjusted.
Okay.
So you can play like a full game in 8 rounds.
Okay.
Or you can play a shorter 4-round version
Oh.
if there's only 2 players.
Okay.
So it shows that like urban planning isn't a one-size-fits-all thing. Just like in real life, the timeline for a small neighborhood project is going to be different than like a citywide project.
Right. Yeah. It's almost like a crash course in how cities work.
It is.
But it's fun.
And it kind of makes you think,
Yeah.
if you were designing your ideal neighborhood,
Oh, yeah.
what would be like your top priorities? Would you want affordable housing
Yeah.
or green spaces?
Yeah.
Would you want to make it easy for people to walk around?
Right.
Or would you try to bring in more businesses?
Yeah.
How would you balance the needs of the residents
Yeah.
with the needs of businesses and the environment?
That is a great question. That's like
It makes you think.
Yeah, it really makes you think about all the different
Yeah.
pieces that you have to consider
Absolutely.
when you're building a community from scratch.
For sure.
You know what?
Yeah.
We should totally
Yeah.
get a game night going
Let's do it.
and try this game out.
I'm in. Let's put our city building skills to the test.
All right, awesome.
Fun.
I'm excited for that.
Cool. All right.
Sounds good.
So that's our deep dive on cities.
Cities, the board game.
Yeah.
Super cool.
All right. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see everybody
See you next time.
next time. Bye.